Now, and the question I've asked on Twitter is quite simple. It's how many world heavyweight champions did Julius fight? Now, you can't go searching through websites. You've got to think about it. Now, we posed this question to the man on the other end of the white sofa, and he's been kicking himself because he didn't get all of them. Julius didn't do bad. He got a few of them. I got all of them. It's okay. That happens. Trust me. Julius, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Before we talk a little bit about what your career and stuff like that, what are you up to now, day to day?
Just trying to keep myself busy. I do a bit of college. I'm at college doing plastering.
You're learning to be a plasterer.
Yeah, which is fun. I'm in the gym.
Still working with fighters specifically, or just in the gym?
Well, I started off just trying to lose a bit of weight because I did balloon up a bit, and then started getting myself back into doing a bit of sparring. So working with a couple of good young heavyweights.
You were working with Dillian White, weren't you? We like Dillian.
Yeah. Ian Lewison also.
Yeah, Lewison, a bit of a lost man, really, Lewis. He's a great fighter.
He is a very good fighter, but sometimes he loses his way a bit.
Is he still young enough? I mean,
yeah.
He was like 20 forever. That's what I'm saying. He was 20 forever. No, he was 20 forever.
I think Ian is 27, 28.
So he's still a baby.
So yeah, in the terms of heavyweight, he is a baby because I never turned pro till I was 28. So,
yeah. Well, that was one age you gave, if you don't mind me saying so. Because no, it's true. When Julius was fighting as an amateur and a pro, there's about 4 different ages for him. He was like George Foreman.
Ian Lewison, 27, 12. I remember Ron Body talking about him years ago to me.
He was a good fighter. He was a really good fighter, Ian Lewison.
But yeah, also again working with Dillian.
Yeah.
And very good prospect.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question because I know the answer. I'm not going to ask you the people, the amount of world heavyweight champions he fought. We'll do that in a moment. Keep those tweets coming. I'm going to ask you, what do you think Julius was doing in Brighton today? I'll tell you what, you'll never get it in a year. If you had a year to guess,
how much do you want to bet? You know that penny you took off me on that bet we had the other week about.
So do you know what he was doing?
Athletics.
Yeah, but what was he doing?
The hammer.
He's the hammer. So Julius Francis has taken up the hammer.
Throne, yeah.
How did that work? How did he take up the hammer?
A friend of mine, Lisa Miller, right? She's an ex Commonwealth 400 metre runner.
Oh, okay. So quality athlete.
She's a very good athlete and a very good lady as well. And a good friend of mine. I asked me if I'd work with her, some of her athletics. Just come down and just do a little bit of work with them, strength training and stuff like that. Just give them a bit of encouragement and stuff. And then slowly but surely, I got roped into doing the athletics with them, and but I've got to say it's my first time I've ever did anything like this athletics wise of throwing the hammer. I had a Wednesday we had a kind of half an hour class of learning how to
do it,
throw and whatever, and I really enjoyed myself today. And obviously it was my first time throwing the hammer. I threw the hammer, the discus, tried to throw a javelin. I couldn't throw a javelin to save my life. And a shot put. And when I got to say, some of these guys are absolutely... One kid, he was there, he was 18, 19, tiny little fella. Yeah. And throwing a javelin, I don't know, 30-odd metres. And it was, and I really, really, really enjoyed it.
Well, listen, that's your hammer exploits today. We'll go back to the start of your career. Now, the other guest on my lovely white sofa, which is actually getting a little bit grubby these days because it's been through some torrid evenings. Now we don't rent it out to one of those channels when we're not using it, but nevertheless it has been through some torrid evenings. Although it does look like it belongs on one of those channels, doesn't it? If I get a little bit of Barry White going down and dim the lights, we could certainly do something in that the Danish would like. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That is neither here nor there. Julius, you're on my sofa for the right reason.
It's not because of me, it's grubby anyway.
Julius, I asked people earlier on, and I asked people how many world champions you met. And first of all, let me just explain that Matt Skelton and Audley Harrison, who held the WBU and the WBF, don't count. They're good fighters, and I'm not dissing those belts. I'm just saying they don't count. In fact, it was 5. Julius, you tell us the 5.
The first one was John Ruiz.
Yeah, which is a bizarre one. In Bristol, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Bristol.
Was it on the undercard of a Ross Howe fight?
I can't remember what the fight was. Yeah, but John Ruiz.
Yeah.
Then Vitaly Klitschko.
Big Vitali.
Yes. Then now who was it? Which one was it after that?
You're going in order.
Yes, that's why I want to try and get it in order. After that was.
Take your time, Sam. It's okay. We've got till one.
Oleg. No,
it wasn't Oleg.
It was Axel Schultz.
Axel Schultz.
Yes.
Pulled that one out of the bag.
Yes,
Come on,
it was
Sam.
Axel Schultz.
Come on.
Then it was Oleg Maskayev.
Yep. And then there's only one left.
Then
There's Mike Tyson.
the little man. Yeah,
The little man, Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
You said a little man, Mike Tyson. Now, a couple of weeks ago on the
man with
show,
a great punch.
you know, we've got this competition going at the moment. We've got this competition for a picture of the gloves that Ali wore when he fought Cooper, the ones that were opened up by Dundee. We've got this competition. Now, the picture's worth £8,000. And we're going to be close to 1,000 when we close this competition in July. We asked people to write a poem, and the poem has to be what Muhammad Ali would write if he was fighting a Klitschko. And I tell you what, people have gone mad for it. And I was also offering a couple of tickets for the July 14th fight. Now, one of the things that came out of that when we were doing it, people were tweeting in, and someone asked, what about those boots Julius wore against Tyson? And I got to thinking about it, and I think that's right, because I can't remember what boots Kawasaki wore against Kessler, or what boots, I don't know, Ricky wore against Costa Zoo. But we all know about those boots. So what did happen to those boots with the mirror logo on the bottom?
All right, now I will tell you the actual story about that. I wasn't aware of. All I knew that I needed some boots.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of any promotions or anything that was going to go on the boots or anything like this.
You're just waiting for your boots?
I'm just waiting for my boots. And then I was told, right at the last minute, Julius, these are your boots. You're going to have the mirror on the underneath of them, on the sole of the boots. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, get on with it. My focus, my 100% focus was getting on with the fight, you know, and lots of people have asked me about the boots. About
where they are?
Not necessarily where they are, but why I had that on my boots. And as far as I was concerned, I never had anything to do with it. It was Frank and my team.
But did you get paid for it?
Yes.
You did get paid?
I did, yeah.
Now, what happened afterwards? Because this is the thing. Where are those boots, Julius?
I'd like to know myself, but I gave the boots to Frank.
Little Frank's got them.
Yeah. And as far as I know, and as far as I was told, the boots were put on an auction for some charity or other.
And any idea how much they went for?
Well, as far as I know, and as far as I can remember, they went for about £1,000.
How much?
About £1,000.
Oh, I've got to tell you, I can't even begin to tell you. Those boots, I think we could get 300 or 400 grand because they're unique boots.
No, the other week, Steve, we was in there when the boots subject came. It was that night, I think, the late night when we showed that incredible documentary.
Yeah.
The boots become one of the mass topics of discussion of tweets of the night.
I'm telling you, your boots were trending on Twitter.
My boots were trending.
Yeah. Have I got that right? Have I got the language right? Because, I mean, I might have got that wrong. Maybe I was meant to say your boots were twittering on trendy. I don't know.
Steve, you're down with the kids saying that.
Listen, I am down with the kids. I've got 2 of them myself. In fact, I've got 3 of them. I better get off here. 4 out of 4. It should have been.
Yeah, definitely.
What fight do you think in your mind that you that was the best? What do you think was the best ever Julius Francis performance?
My best ever Julius Francis.
Because a lot of years you were pro, you know, for a lot of, you know. Awful lot of years.
The fight that I treasure the most, the fight that I really treasure the most was the Albert Hall against Danny Williams, and for me it's because I won the Lonsdale belt outright.
And you also underdog then. I know you were. I know people kept writing you off anyway. No, they did. But in that one, I mean, I think there was quite a big feeling of being
there was, because again, big respect to Danny Williams. Great, and I've always believed Danny, as far as I was concerned, even then, and I told him after the fight, I'd still believe that he was one of the best homegrown heavyweights that this country's produced for many, many years. Many years, and I've always rated Danny Williams. On that night there, it was just about me as far as I was concerned.
But it was also a good fight, wasn't it, Juice?
It was a good fight.
I mean, it's here now. I mean, it was
a hard fight.
It was a hard fight.
It was a very hard fight. You know,
I mean, look at you there. You know, you're in great nick. Danny's in great nick. Look at Danny. I mean, no disrespect. We're used to seeing Danny now.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a really good heavyweight fight. I remember at the time thinking,
at the show, weren't we?
yeah, this is. I mean, they're standing. Look, second row, they're standing.
Yeah. This was right at the end of it. This was the 12th round, and I, you know, all through the fight, I boxed. I had a game plan, and I knew Danny had a game plan. Danny said. Of this fight, about this fight, he was going to stop me within 4 rounds. After 4 rounds, Danny's game plan was out the window. That's when my game plan was coming into fruition, as it were.
That was there. That was '99, and I think that was a cracking domestic fight, and it was a big one at the time. And it took a while before another big one came along.
Definitely.
Tonight we've had a big one. I mean, I'm gonna give the result away of the fight in Liverpool. And if you ended up, if you're Sky Plusing, if you Sky Plussed the show from Liverpool, close your ears now or leave the room. Okay, I'm going to give that away. Now we all know the results. I think it's the 4th round. Looks like David Price done a job on Sam Sexton. Dropped him in the 3rd, dropped him in the 4th.
He was down 2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times. Now, Julius, David Price, I think, is a good fighter.
Yes.
I mean, and I think tonight was a real test. He seems to have flown through it.
I think in the last couple of fights, times I've watched Price, and having met him as well, he's a very down-to-earth young man.
Yeah.
And that's where he needs to be, down-to-earth, keep his both feet on the ground. But when he goes about his work, when he fought John McDermott, a very good, strong young man. I worked with him. I'd sparred with John lots and lots of times when I was fighting. Very good, very big and strong. But David Price took care of him very early. And again, he done the same thing tonight. Line up Sam Sexton. I know that David would have got that jab on him and then dropped that right hand. Yeah.
Now, so Steve, this begs the question. You know, we've seen the matches in the past. The only fight we haven't seen in the last 30, 40 years was Mason against Bruno for whatever reasons. We've seen Julius in with Danny Williams, which was good, was peak and peak. We saw Lewis and Bruno in peak and peak. Obviously, Cooper against Bugner all those years ago. So the fight that we need at that level now, that domestic level now, and let's put Chisora and Hay aside because that's become a different thing with 30,000 tickets sold. More on that fight, by the way, on Monday on some details about how you can get to view it. So what about Fury and Price now? I mean, I think this has put Fury under some serious pressure.
It's put him under pressure, but I don't think he's going to take it. He should have taken it, Steve. I can't speak for Mick and for...
Sure.
Whatever you can say what you want. Price needed him a few months ago. Price was willing to go through with that fight. Yeah. They put a purse bid in.
Good money.
Good money. It was incredible money. They put a serious purse bid in. Half hour before the purse bids were due to be open, it was Fury that pulls out. That puts the pressure. But what David isn't, and I do think, forget the Hay and Derek, I think he is the best of the rest in Britain. I fancy him against Fury. I have for some time. But what he hasn't got that Fury's got, he doesn't talk. The media like Fury. And we're not in an era now...
It's a great name as well.
Where... They write about
You're saying that right
about. I'm not saying it, but that is what gets you. It's so hard getting boxing into newspapers.
I appreciate
Fury
that.
gets in because of the way he speaks.
Yeah, but we said that. But listen, little Frank Maloney, he speaks. Don't worry about that. I mean, so he does his speaking for both. Anyway, we're not here tonight to help plug a fight between Fury and Price. Of course, if it was on Box Nation, we'd plug it like lunatics. In fact, we'd stay up all night plugging it. We'd plug it for 60 hours solid. We'd beat Chris Moore's record. We'd just be plugging it from now until it happened. We'd never sleep. We're not good enough because that's not what we're doing. And what's in your life the next couple of weeks, Julius? Because we're going to get you back because we love you. The people are loving you on Twitter, mate.
For me, I'm going back to S Factor, do my athletics. And
back to the hammer?
Yes, back to the hammer.
Julius, the hammer. Next time you come in, forget your Lonsdale belt. Can you bring your hammer in?
I'll try. I'll see if
the
they'll
kind
let
of
me
guy I am.